You know, many people have talked about the densities and stuff like that, but they really never got really much into it besides something that they heard on a video that somebody channeled from Raw or the Light Workers or, you know, what's the other one I can't think, Cryon or something like that, which those are all great. And those are all great names, and if those people never heard those names before, but just they came out of nowhere, that means they were tapped in. But there's still a distortion of the person themselves when they're trying to use their words. Yes, they do use your words, but they have to use your words. So, and they are you. Here's the reason why things happen like this. Essentially, and definitely beyond all things, we are just one being. But, okay, in levels of stuff, you have a job, you play a game, you have hobbies, you have buddies that you hang out with, you have a girlfriend, you have kids, and maybe multiple kids. Each one of them has its level of density, like closeness. The density of, say, we'll say, how well you get along with them in terms of you find them humorous, they find you humorous, you laugh a lot. Let's go from 1 to 7, because 4 would be definitely right in the center of saying definitely we're perfectly compatible. 3 would be compatible, but seemingly perfect. But just when you say it's one of those things where you have too much of something, just a little too much, and it's not good. Same thing with the other way around. Just, you think it's perfect, but it's not enough, so it's not quite a 4, it's a 5. So, like, you know, there's reasons for each way to leave. There's whatever. There's imbalances in relationships, all relationships. Like, after a while, you get to know each other, you become more humorous, or you find their jokes funnier. And then, say you have a workout partner. If they're on time, people, stuff like that. Like, if they're on time, if they can be depended on. So each person would have their own class, and to a degree of how much they would. Okay, that's a personal thing. The reason we have densities in the astral realm is because when people, or when spirit, first broke up into light, and light had information, light could distort into other forms. Light in other forms, the first 5 elements could distort into other forms from what we call energy. It started writing lines and letters. The lines and letters and dots don't have to be the same. They're only here. I know how they change in other planets and other things, that they're sort of inverted, they're inside out, they're spiral, they're twisted, all kinds of weird stuff. There's twisted universes, mirror universes. All you do is you twist the alphabet. You mirror the alphabet. Same thing. As above, so below. Anyway. So as we go on through densities, I'm not going to go on and up through the list and list them off. There's plenty of things out there that have an idea or a gist of what that means because they heard it on something. But what really happens is because, say, you are the infinite, and you at the very first moment, no time, first moment that you wanted to do something, and you could do everything possible. It got sort of boring. Other people joined you. You could keep track of all thoughts of all people at the same time, and it didn't confuse you because you're able to do whatever you want. That got boring. So then you gave individual people chances to do whatever they wanted. So they'd do whatever they wanted. And throughout the whole lifetime, they would know that in the next lifetime, they could remember everything from this lifetime. It just happened in a lifetime as a different looking person. So that way they could have different reactions and different things and all that kind of stuff. So they even kept their consciousness from life to life. And that got boring because with a different face and a different sounding voice, maybe a different sex, maybe a different animal, if you still knew what you were doing, it got boring. So it got to certain degrees with that too. Just like I was saying, densities, people who are too stuck on it are like low density. People that are almost done and trying to get done with it but still have some stuck on things are higher densities. People who have gotten rid of it but want to go back and help others are still a higher density but lower than the fool, because the fool is the one. So you can't help others if you think others aren't one. So if you think there are others, there's no actual one. But if you conceptualize with the one but don't understand it, you haven't become one with it. You can't be the full infinite density, the full infinite, the infinite. You can't be the omnipotent if you still want to help others, when self is only I, God is only God, Krishna is only Krishna, whatever, I don't want to say those kind of words because those aren't my languages, but all those things are only those. Like, you think you're only you. Well, God is only God. Universe is only universe to itself, but itself is you, because it's in you right now, recognizing itself. So there's no separation between yourself and itself. Anyway, so those higher densities, those are like, say, at a halfway point, you could do all the things you wanted, and, maybe instead of starting off with your memory, after a certain age or a certain point or a certain degree, you get your memory. And then you can make a decision whether you want to go back and remember what you used to do and, change things, because you had them started off differently. So that was like half free will. It wasn't really free. It was like the kind of freedom we have now. Like watched over, and then, after the next... That started getting boring after eons of imaginal time anyway, timelessness. It can all happen so fast. A computer can process information really fast. It would take you a long time to think about it. That's exactly what the universal mind does, but at all time. At a high-speed computer times infinity, then infinite is what that is. So, I guess to sum what I'm trying to say up is that the densities that people are leaving out is because you don't, it doesn't want to know about itself even after death. It will leave you a higher astral self that'll say that it's yourself and knows that there's higher densities and that it's working towards them, because it's with a planetary group or with a unit of people or a star galaxy, whatever, or Atlantis or, Ra, they're a group. If you're a group, that means that you don't conceptualize any more than that. That you are infinite and you're part of it. And you don't want to be it, because you don't want to merge with all things at the same time and be that little piece that is always operating. Like right now, while I'm talking and while you're listening, it's happening to you. The little thing that's in you, that's always going, that's always knowing, that's always being, is happening with you, me, and everything you're doing, and everything around you, and everything I'm doing. Because I am you and you're I. So it doesn't, even though I'm using words, I'm trying to explain them. This is any human density, so I'm trying to tell you that when you die, that higher self isn't God. Of course not. But I went with my higher self until I shed all higher selves and all astral beings through the light which purified me into nothingness. And as I turned around, as above, so below, well, so be it. I saw everything that was, quote-unquote, below, because there is no real below. It's the arrows. It shows us stuff, what it means. I saw what was above us and what was below us. I saw it all. I saw heaven and hell. I saw every depiction of every person who's been in hell's mind. I've seen every picture or depiction of every person who's been in heaven's mind. And they're doing it right now, too. So I've seen it through your eyes and everybody's eyes. But when I'm in your body, I don't know what you look like because I'm not looking at you. I'm other people looking at you. And they're looking through their eyes, so I don't know what they look like when they're looking at you through their eyes. But I'm also the other people looking at them. Now that may not make sense to you, but it makes absolute sense to me. Because that's what my life is. I'm the absolute tree, not the family tree. I'm the tree. I'm that dude. I'm not just nature, I'm Nad. I'm rad, I'm Nad. And I'm just joking a tad, but sorry. And a bald eagle is flying over me right now. That's awesome. It just landed in the tree above the thing. I wish I wasn't recording on the audio recorder. If I was on the video, I could have shot it. It sucks. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say for now. But these densities, like, I just saw the thing about Cryon and whatever. I listened to it for a few seconds. The Lightworkers, full thing, 1 through 5. And the guy's like, and Cryon, thank you, lovely beings. And I know they're trying to explain as beings. But you have to understand, if somebody is channeling Cryon, that person is separate from Cryon, apparently. And Cryon is saying that it's a part of a federation of the galaxy of Lightworkers, Well, guess what? Those aren't one, they're part of the one. I witnessed the one, and I know how to get there. But no one can just jump there. You have to work your way up by your own effort. And I can seriously tell you, if you don't want to believe it, that's your own fault. I don't know why you wouldn't want to. I live in paradise every moment of the day. but I still act like Dan, and if my job says you gotta be like, hey, you didn't get any of your stuff, you should show concern, or they're gonna think you don't care. I really don't, quote unquote, care in a negative way. I care in a loving way. I'm compassionate. I'm like, they didn't send the stuff? Well, I should be like, man, they're gonna be mad at me now because they didn't get their buns. And I don't say it like that, but that's how I feel. I'm watching Dan get mad, or act angry because he didn't get what he ordered, and now they're gonna be mad at him and not the bakery that just decided not to send it. But that's just how it works. That's how it's been going. But living in the normal world where I have all this knowledge in my head, in my being, there's no knowledge in my head. I'm just trying to use the words. But everything that is I. Si, senor, it is. But isn't that crazy? I don't think so. But I ask that just so you can be like, you know what? With what I've heard you say, it's really not all that crazy. But I ask you the question so you can answer it for yourself. Because if no one asks you, you'll never ask yourself. Is he crazy or is he not crazy? Well, just so you know, I did go get checked by a certified, psychiatric evaluator, and I have an IQ of a very high genius. And I don't mean high as in on some weed. I mean on God. He even said, I don't understand, but whatever you're doing, I'd keep doing it. Just don't tell anybody else. That resonates in my head so much. It amazes me. I love it. But boy, oh boy, does that not matter when Dan's going through a normal day, watching everybody else so confused in their egos. I'm not even confused in Dan's ego, I'm just using it. I have to. No one else can see me as what I am besides Dan. And that's fine. I love them for it. But they have no clue what the hell I'm talking about when I'm completely honest. People look at me like, huh? But then they'll really give me a deep look and I can see their thinking. And most people, I can sort of hear what they're thinking, but it's like being able to tell what someone's saying by their demeanor, but not by their words. But I can tell that without their words, just by their look, their expression, the lines in their eyes. Just there's some sign in my head that can read their vibration. So it's not like I hear their words like, whoa, like some hazy voice box up in the movies or something. It's like, hey, man, I really don't believe you. But I can tell there's a vibration in me that I do not doubt, and it tells me the truth. So when I go, I can tell you don't believe me to somebody, and they go, it's not that I believe you, but how do I know that you're not just making this all up? I'm like, well, right there, if you ask me that, if you say, how do I know? I'll tell you, you just do. But if you actually want to know and you don't have the answer for yourself, then that's doubting me. Maybe you're asking me that question to make me doubt myself, but I don't. Not at all. Not from this perspective. So, I can go round and round with it, but what's the point? What's the point? All we're going to do is cause some friction, going round and round, stirring up heat and static. So I would rather move forward and make the world exactly what it wants to be, according to itself.